What is up, guys? This is Nick from EDC Detailing. Now today we're going to take a look at a 2004 Mazda 6. It needs quite a bit of love. We got some cool stuff planned. We're going to do a detail inside and out. We got some headlight restoration coming up, so let's go ahead and take a look. So the first step is going to be taking care of these wheels. So I'm going to start off just by rinsing them off first, knocking off a lot of that heavy grime. From there, I'm going to be using P&S Brake Buster. This is one of my favorite wheel cleaners by far. I am going to be using a couple different brushes. The first one being a stiff bristle brush. This is going to be for the tires, just to really dig into them, get any sort of that old dressings, things like that off. From there, I'm going to use a softer bristle brush, and that's going to be to do a majority of the face of the wheel. Really just knock down a lot of that and let that brake buster do the work. Then I'm going to use a longer brush. This is going to get in between the spoke and into the barrel of the wheel. After that, just a high pressure rinse, and you can just watch all that dirt and grime fall off. A huge difference before and after. That's why I love this brake buster. Alright, so now that we're done with the wheels, we're going to go ahead and just rinse off the car. In my case, I'm using a pressure washer. It's just to knock down a lot of that heavy grime, so that when we go ahead and foam it up, it'll be a little bit easier. And now on to the fun part. I'm going to be foaming up the car. I'm using Chemical Guys Honeydew. This is going to help lift off any more of that dirt or debris, anything like that, and also prevent us from scratching the car any further. Alright, so now that the car is all nice and foamed up, we're going to move on to our contact wash. We are using a 2-bucket method with 2 dirt traps. This is just to make sure we're not inducing any more scratches or swirls into the paint. Now you'll notice I'm kind of working from the top down. That is because we want to do the cleanest areas of the car first and then work our ways towards the more dirty areas last. Now, as you can tell by how the water is literally just sticking to the surface, this is usually a good indication there's absolutely no protection on the vehicle whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that in the next few steps. Now, using a clay bar and clay luber, we're going to go ahead and give this a clay bar treatment. So what this is going to do is take off any sort of surface contamination that's kind of worked its way into the clear coat, making the paint nice and smooth to the touch. This is going to make it so that when we put on any sort of wax or sealants or anything like that afterwards, it's going to adhere better. It's also going to look a little bit better. My biggest piece of advice when you're doing this, use a little bit more clay lube than you think you need to. The last thing you want to do is rub dry clay onto a surface, cause clay marring, things like that. You definitely don't want that to happen. After the clay bar, now we're going to go ahead and protect the paint with a little bit of wax. Now in this case, I'm using Chemical Guys VO7 Carnauba wax. You can use whatever wax is your favorite. I'm doing it by machine. This can be applied either by hand or by machine. I just prefer doing it this way just because it does save a little bit more product and you definitely get it done a lot faster. It's also going to buff off a lot easier when you're doing it by machine. This is really what's going to help it give it that great shine, but also protect it. So as you can see, this is after we applied the wax. Now obviously a massive difference. Water is just beating right off it, which shows that it's protected. Now on to one of the more satisfying parts of the detail. We're going to do a headlight restoration. So because these headlights are pretty bad, I am going to do 3 different stages. So first I'm going to start off with 1000 grit, and we are wet sanding it. So we're going to go ahead and use plenty of water. What we want is for the headlight to look nice and evenly hazy all the way across, so that we take off all of that dead plastic. After that, I'm going to go ahead and follow it up with a 2500 grit. After that, I'm going to follow it up with a 3000 grit. And then from there we can go into actually polishing out those scratches and making them look better than brand new. So now that we're done with that, we're going to polish out those scratches. I'm using Chemical Guys V36 with a green polishing pad. All we're going to do is we're going to keep working that polish until we see that it's starting to become nice and clear. As you see, you kind of take your time left and right, up and down, make sure you cover everything. And that's really what gives it that major transformation from that dull and hazy look to brand new. So now that we have the headlight looking amazing, we want to go ahead and protect it to prevent any sort of yellowing or anything like that in the future. For this particular headlight, I'm going to be using a ceramic product. Now you can use any sort of a sealant or anything like that. I personally prefer ceramic. I feel like it protects a little bit better and gives just that little bit extra shine to it. Alright, so now jumping into the interior, as you can see, a little bit of trash, nothing too crazy. So all we're going to do is we're going to start off just by vacuuming everything down. Following that, we're just going to go ahead and scrub everything down with our interior cleaner, top it off with a little bit of dressing, give it a little bit of shine and protect it, and that's going to do it for the interior.
Here we go. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy it, like, subscribe, send it to somebody, show them. Other than that, let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see, and I'll see you guys next time.